Hi everyone, welcome. We're back for another lesson with A Course in Miracles, lesson 135, which is quite a big one today. It's another big stride towards the truth. So I'm going to read through it because even though it's a long one, the wisdom is in the lesson itself. So we'll read through the notes. And if you hear some noise in the background, I apologise. It's that time of year when people are mowing the lawns, so you might hear a bit of that going on in the background. Hopefully it won't intrude too much, so let's get going. So today's lesson is if I defend myself, I am attacked. If I defend myself, I am attacked. Who would defend himself unless he thought he were attacked, that the attack were real, and that his own defence could save himself? And herein lies the folly of defence. It gives illusions full reality and then attempts to handle them as real. It adds illusions to illusions, thus making correction doubly difficult, and it is this you do when you attempt to plan the future, activate the past, or organise the present as you wish. So all of this planning and doing and this attacking, it just creates more illusions on top of illusions already, and so it is really creating much more to weave through before we can actually find the truth, so we're just adding more layers when we do these things. You operate from the belief you must protect yourself from what is happening because it must contain what threatens you. A sense of threat is an acknowledgement of an inherent weakness, a belief that there is danger which has power to call on you to make appropriate defense. The world is based on this insane belief, and all its structures, all its thoughts and doubts, its penalties and heavy armaments, its legal definitions and its codes, its ethics and its leaders and its gods all serve but to preserve its sense of threat. For no one walks the world in armature but must have terror striking at his heart. Yeah, it just you see how much we are trying to protect ourselves from this illusion, trying to create separate things, that this is me, and so I'm protecting myself against you. And we've got laws, we've got, religions, we've got all of these things that are creating a separate identity in which keeps us separate from one another, but also makes us feel like we're safe in a way, but it is all just adding to more illusions that are already there. It's snowballing out. Defense is frightening. It stems from fear, increasing fear as each defense is made. You think it offers safety, yet it speaks of fear made real and terror justified. It is not strange you do not pause to ask as you elaborate your plans and make your armour thicker and your locks more tight, what you defend and how and against what. And it is true about that saying, what you resist persists, So we're constantly, resisting this need to be connected to the oneness. And so we're creating more separate things and more illusions, more things that are just going to keep us more and more separated from our source. Let us consider first what you defend. It must be something that is very weak and easily assaulted. It must be something made easy prey, unable to protect itself and needing your defence. What but the body has such frailty that constant care and watchful, deep concern are needful to protect its little life? What but the body falters and must fail to serve the Son of God as worthy host? So yes, this body is the one thing we are protecting in everything we do, really, in where it's going, in what, it's like we've got to have it look a certain way, we've got to, when something's wrong with it, we're trying to fix it. There's all of these things that we're doing to the body, and it needs to be we've got to do things to keep it right, because if we don't, it's going to, this is all the illusion again playing out. Yet it is not the body that can fear, nor be a thing of fear. It has no needs but those which you assign to it. It needs no complicated structures of defence, no health-inducing medicine, no care and no concern at all. Wow, that's a huge one to wrap our heads around. It's gosh, you think, Of course I've got to take care of it. It will die. I can't just ignore it. I've got to do. Whereas this truth way of thinking, it's not necessary. The focus should be off the body and on to what is actually the source that leads everything. We're too busy focused on the structure, and thus we are so lost. Defend its life or give it gifts to make it beautiful or walls to make it safe, and you but say your home is open to the thief of time, corruptible and crumbling, so unsafe it must be guarded with your very life. Is not this picture fearful? Absolutely, is it? Can you be at peace with such a concept of your home? Yet what endowed the body with the right to serve you, thus accept your own belief? It is your mind which gave the body all the functions that you see in it, and set its value far beyond a little pile of dust and water, who would make defence of something that he recognised as this. Yeah, it's just... the body has become our God that we worship, and not the other way around. We should be inwardly driven, and that is where we go. We follow what inwardly, but we're too busy externally looking at what happened in the past, what happened in the future. I've got to self-guard, I've got to plan, I've got to do this, I've got to have everything going in the right way, and it's all in a need of feeling unsafe in the world. The body is in need of no defence. This cannot be too often emphasized. It will be strong and healthy if the mind does not abuse it by assigning it to roles it cannot fill, to purposes beyond its scope, and to exalted aims which it cannot accomplish. Such attempts, ridiculous yet deeply cherished, are the source for the many mad attacks you made upon it, for it seems to fail your hopes, your needs, your values, and your dreams. Yes, because our vision of where we want to go is going against what we're meant to be doing. We're meant to be extending love in all that we do, but there is a way in which we extend love, which we are guided to do, and yet we think we know the way. And so we're forcing ourselves to be in certain places, doing certain things, and it's causing so much suffering, and this is what we've got to change. The self that needs protection is not real. The body, valueless and hardly worth the least defence, need merely be perceived as quite apart from you, and it becomes a healthy, serviceable instrument through which the mind can operate until its usefulness is over. Who would want to keep it when its usefulness is done? I've heard also that the phrase of it, the body being like a telescope, and so it's it's giving you this vision of life, and when it's over, you just you put the telescope down, and it's no longer necessary. Defend the body, and you have attacked your mind, for you have seen in it the faults, the weaknesses, the limits, and the lacks from which you think the body must be saved. You will not see the mind as separate from bodily conditions, and you will impose upon the body all the pain that comes from the conception of the mind as limited and fragile and apart from other minds and separate from its source. Yeah, we just don't realise the damage we are doing to ourselves as we continue to see ourselves as separate, as others as separate from us, that there are grievances going on, we need to defend ourselves, that we've got to be... It's just so much madness going on, and it's so simple. The solution is to just quiet that mind, not listen to the ego mind that is pushing and pulling us in all the wrong directions, getting silence, getting the intuition, and following that guidance. These are the thoughts in need of healing, and the body will respond with health when they have been corrected and replaced with truth. This is the body's only real defence, yet is this where you look for its defence. You offer it protection of a kind from which it gains no benefit at all, but merely adds to your distress of mind. You do not heal, but merely take away the hope of healing, for you fail to see where hope must lie if it be meaningful. A healed mind does not plan. It carries out the plans that it receives through listening to wisdom that is not its own. It waits until it has been taught what should be done, and then proceeds to do it. It does not depend upon itself for anything except its adequacy to fulfill the plans assigned to it. It is secure in certainty that obstacles cannot impede its progress to accomplishment of any goal that serves the greater plan established for the good of everyone. And that is, for my own life, when things have gone in flow, it's when it's not just about me, it's about others, and it's when it serves all of us as a whole that your life really does flow. It's like when we're constantly striving to do all of these things that an ego mind is chattering and sort of constantly mind beating us to do, and we're listening to it and we're giving it the reality and we're giving it the truth, when the truth is actually not of a talking mind, a mind that was made up. The truth is something that is in the silence, that is in an inner way of moving us forward. It's like an emotional intelligence that comes down and through us, and we operate through that, and we use the tools that we might have in much more loving ways all of the time. A healed mind is relieved of the belief that it must plan, although it cannot know the outcome which is best, the means by which it is achieved, nor how to recognize the problem that the plan is made to solve. It must misuse the body in its plans until it recognizes this is so. But when it has accepted this as true, then it is healed and lets the body go. Wow. Yes, I think once we connect to source, then we don't need a body, do we? We're kind of in our essence, and what we're doing is living in the present moment, and we are evolving by doing that, and we're listening by doing that, listening in the present moment to the emotional intelligence that's coming through, and we operate through that, extending to that until the whole world is healed, because we all suddenly wake up to the truth. When we can extend love, we can help others feel it, and that emotional intelligence then is sort of awoken in them, so that then they can feel their own emotional intelligence, working through us all. Enslavement of the body to the plans the unhealed mind sets up to save itself must make the body sick. It is not free to be the means of helping in a plan which far exceeds its own protection, and which needs its service for a little while. In this capacity is health assured, for everything the mind employs for this will function flawlessly and with the strength that has been given it and cannot fail. It is perhaps not easy to perceive that self-initiated plans are but defences, with the purpose of all of them were made to realise. They are the means by which a frightened mind would undertake its own protection at the cost of truth. This is not difficult to realise in some forms, which these self-deceptions take, where the denial of reality is very obvious, yet planning is not often recognised as a defence. It isn't. I mean, you don't think like, oh, I've got to plan ahead, I'm going to do this, this and this. You don't see that as an attack. You don't see it as a defence, I guess, against like your truth. You see that as like, well, this is progression, this is my evolution, I'm going to go to university, say, and I'm going to start a course, and I'm going to do this, this, and this. But that's your defense against something you think, if you don't do that, where's your future going to go? What are you here for? I have to do these things. But really, it's too... These words are so hard to describe in a way that's going to make sense to an ego mind. So you want to rationalize it, don't you, in your mind? You want to sort of think, well, what you're saying is insane because this is how the world operates. You can't just go about your day waiting for an emotional intelligence to move you around. That just is insane, right? That's the ego talking. That's insane. Now, that's not going to work. You're a separate self. You're here as an individual, and you've got to get making some plans. So get on it, make the plans, and ignore this lesson. It is just ridiculous. That's a choice. We have a choice who we listen to. Now, in listening to that mind, you'll get the results that that will ultimately end in suffering in some degree. It's a roller coaster of a ride when you go down that path. Whereas with Source, I've had snippets of it, and it's a joyous ride, and it is in that awakening that you just feel this ultimate peace that just is eternal. It's not going to change, but it's keeping with that, because I keep listening to the ego mind that keeps nagging at me to go this other way. It's constantly defending yourself against an ego mind. But once you fully connect, as we're doing with each of these lessons, we're getting closer and closer to the truth, and then be able to stay in that presence. The mind engaged in planning for itself is occupied in setting up control of future happenings. It does not think that it will be provided for unless it makes its own provisions. That's what I was saying about doing a university degree. Time becomes a future emphasis to be controlled by learning and experience obtained from past events and previous beliefs. It overlooks the present, for it rests on the idea the past has taught enough to let the mind direct its future's course. So, doing a degree, I'm not saying is a totally, you don't do it. It could be your course of action, but that would be that emotional intelligence telling you that's what you need to do in order to not get to that place, but in order to extend love more in that way, because that's all you're here to do. And it could be for your evolution so you can get closer to the source. All of these things that we're currently living within, the illusions, have to be maneuvered in a way to bring us back to love. So I hope this is making sense to you. It's kind of like love is the ultimate goal in this world. That's it. So whatever else we're doing in it, whatever's coming at us, whether we think it is really bad, it's actually a gift. In suffering, there is a gift, and it's a gift to get you to awaken to the truth that love is what you are. And, that's it. That's the simple thing. And on that awakening, you then want to serve others to help them come to that awakening too. That's why we're here. The mind that plans is thus refusing to allow for change. What it has learned becomes the basis for its future goals. Its past experience directs its choice of what will happen, and it does not see that here and now is everything it needs to guarantee a future quite unlike the past, without a continuity of any old ideas and sick beliefs. Anticipation plays no part at all, for present confidence directs the way. Defences are the plans you undertake to make against the truth. Their aim is to select what you approve and disregard what you consider incompatible with your beliefs of your reality. Yet what remains is meaningless indeed, for it is your reality that is the threat, which your defences would attack, obscure, and take apart and crucify. What could you not accept if you but knew that everything that happens, all events, past, present, and to come, are gently planned by one whose only purpose is your good? Perhaps you have misunderstood his plan, for he would never offer pain to you, but your defences did not let you see his loving blessing shine in every step you ever took. While you made plans for death, he led you gently to eternal life. Your present trust in him is the defence that promises a future undisturbed, without a trace of sorrow, and with joy that constantly increases as this life becomes a holy instant, set in time, but heeding only immortality. Let no defences but your present trust direct the future, and this life becomes a meaningful encounter with the truth that only your defences would conceal. Without defences, you become a light which heaven gratefully acknowledges to be its own, and it will lead you on in ways appointed for your happiness according to the ancient plan begun when time was born. Your followers will join their light with yours, and it will be increased until the world is lightened up with joy, and gladly with our brothers lay aside their cumbersome defences which availed them nothing and could only terrify. We will accept that time today with present confidence, for this is part of what was planned for us. We will be sure that everything we need is given us for our accomplishment of this today. We make no plans for how it will be done, but realize that our defenselessness is all that is required for the truth to dawn upon our minds with certainty. So here we go into the practice. So for 15 minutes twice a day, we rest from senseless planning and from every thought that blocks the truth from entering our minds. Today we will receive instead of plan, that we may give instead of organize. And we are given truly, as we say, if I defend myself, I am attacked. But in defenselessness, I will be strong, and I will learn what my defenses hide. So we've got 15 minutes again for 2 times today to practice this, being in the present moment and being led by our emotional intelligence, something higher, whatever you want to describe it, something that you know that is that connection for you. I'm just describing it as an emotional intelligence because I kind of feel into it, and I feel guided that way. So however that works for you could be totally different. That's just my way of tapping into that. So yes, we're giving 15 minutes and we're letting go of all our plans. We're waiting for a higher form to direct our lives. And then we're saying, if I defend myself, I am attacked. So understanding that if we start defending ourselves against anything, we're actually attacking ourselves. But in defenselessness, so when we let go of our defenses, we will be strong and we'll learn what defenses actually hide, which is the truth. So we'll learn that. Nothing but that if there are plans to make, you will be told of them. They may not be the plans you thought were needed, nor indeed the answers to the problems which you thought confronted you, but they are answers to another kind of question, which remains unanswered yet in need of answering, until the answer comes to you at last. So yeah, you're going to be guided in different ways, and it's possibly, well, what it's saying here, it's not going to be what the ego mind would want. It's something else. So you're going to be directed today by something different. So allow that in as much as you can. All your defenses have been aimed at not receiving what you will receive today. And in the light and joy of simple trust, you will but wonder why you ever thought that you must be defended from release. Heaven asks nothing. It is hell that makes extravagant demands for sacrifice. You give up nothing in these times today when, undefended, you present yourself to your Creator as you really are. Wow. Just thinking about that, undefended, it's almost like you feel naked in a way, and in a way that like everything that because we have so much, like we've created so many walls around us, suddenly we're breaking them all free and we're stood there in like the light and it's like, oh, this is scary. It's no wonder we can't suddenly just get this concept and we need this large book to get us there, because all of the layers that we put around ourselves, once they're all taken away, we're left in this place where we feel vulnerable, but actually we're not going to be vulnerable. We're going to be more powerful than we ever realized. We are weak because of all of these layers that we put around ourselves. We're hiding our light. And when that light is able to dawn brightly on everything, like that's so powerful, that's so transformative. He has remembered you. Today we will remember him, for this is Easter time in your salvation. And as you rise again from what was seeming death and hopelessness, now is the light of hope reborn in you, for now you come without defense, to learn the part for you within the plan of God. What little plans or magical beliefs can still have value when you have reached your function from the voice for God himself? So the Easter time's like that awakening to yourself, the true awakening. You've been resurrected into this totally new being of truth, because, well, you're not new, it's like the awakening of the old that has been hidden. So what a beautiful time. Try not to shape this day as you believe would benefit you most, for you cannot conceive of all the happiness that comes to you without your planning. Learn today, and all the world will take this giant stride and celebrate your Easter time with you. Throughout the day, as foolish little things appear to raise defensiveness in you and tempt you to engage in weaving plans, remind yourself this is a special day for learning, and acknowledge it with this. This is my Easter time, and I would keep it holy. I will not defend myself, because the Son of God needs no defense against the truth of his reality. So you could say this is, instead of Easter time, this is my awakening, and I would keep it holy. So you would keep it sacred, you would keep it special, you keep it that like time. And I will not defend myself, because the Son of God needs no defense. You don't need no defense, so you don't defend yourself against the truth of your reality, which is the love, the light that which you are. So that's our wonderful lesson today. Quite a large one, as I said. Get rid of all your plans today. Out the window. No planning. What you're doing is working from the heart, from that intelligence, way, way, way more powerful. Allow that to guide you in whatever way that wants to take you, and follow it. Follow it, follow it, because you'll then be revealed the truth. And how that is going to unfold in your day-to-day is all down to you, how you follow it, what happens. Just allow it to be. Follow the heart. You know, the heart will always lead you home. So enjoy, and we will be back again tomorrow. I will see you all then. Have a lovely day. Bye.